Hello, Sepul Nation. Welcome to another SepulQuarta. This is SepulQuarta number 19. First of all, I want to please ask you to like this video and share with your friends and everybody. Today we're going to have another killer and amazing SepulQuarta. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also subscribe to our SepulQuarta page. Really soon I'm going to put the links here on the comments and tell us where are you all from. Here in the comments, we want to know where you guys watching this SepulQuarta. And today, as you could see in the first video, we're gonna have a really special SepulQuarta with Alex Skolnick from Testament, and he's gonna chat here with Andreas and Paulo. So send in your questions. If you wanna have your question highlighted here, you can use the super chat option. And please share this video, like, and subscribe to our page and channel. And after the Q&A, we're gonna have Sepultura playing Vandal's Nest from Machine Messiah featuring Alex. It's an amazing version. You guys cannot miss this. And after the live performance, we're gonna have the Storyteller Sepul covers part 4, talking about the Bad Brains, Black Flag, and Bauhaus covers. And I'm gonna leave right now a message for our Brazilian audience. Boa tarde, Sepul Nation. Bem-vindos a mais uma SepulQuarta. Isso aqui é a SepulQuarta número 19. E vocês já puderam ver aí no vídeo de introdução, vai ser muito especial. Vamos ter o Q&A hoje em inglês, né? Na semana passada foi em português, essa semana vai ser em inglês. E vou pedir para que vocês, daqui a pouco eu vou colocar o QR Code, a gente mudou a forma de doação, então vocês vão poder fazer a doação pelo Catarse, pela plataforma Catarse. Vou colocar os links nos comentários. A instituição dessa semana é a Parada Solidariedade, então eu peço que vocês colaborem pelo QR Code e também pelo link que eu vou colocar aqui nos comentários durante o Q&A. Vocês já sabem com quem é, com o Alex, que é guitarrista do Testament e vários outros projetos. Então, hoje é em inglês, mas se vocês querem mandar suas perguntas, vocês também têm a opção do Superchat para ter aqui os comentários em destaque. Então, vou pedir para que vocês coloquem também nos comentários de onde vocês são, se inscrevam no canal do Sepultura e também lá na página da SepulQuarta, curtam o vídeo e aproveitem aí mais uma SepulQuarta imperdível. Então, vamos colocar aqui os nossos convidados na tela agora.
Hello there.
Welcome, Alex Skolnick.
All right.
Master.
Yeah. Great to be here. Good to be.
How are you, Paulo Xisto?
Oh, I'm hanging in.
I'm doing good.
I'm good. I'm excited.
That's awesome, man. It's great. It's great for you to have you here, man. I'm a big fan of Testament, of your guitar playing. We had the chance to tour together. We have the Metal Allegiance project that we work together a lot, and it's so cool, man, to know you personally, and not only your music and your influence you got on Sepultura and us. I remember when I joined Sepultura, Testament was really strong influence, you know. Of course, Max only played 4 strings, so we couldn't do the harmonies. but nevertheless, you know, that's something that really influenced a lot. I mean, the melody on the leads and everything. So, I mean, I'm very happy that you're here. Honored. It's a privilege, you know, for Sepultura. And we are jamming together. After this, you know, the Vandal's Nest live quarantine version, which came out fucking evil. I mean, it's very trashy, very evil, with an extra lead from Alex, so don't miss that. Fantastic. So welcome, Alex. Thank you very much for being here. How are you doing? How are you going through this crazy times, this pandemic situation? How are you feeling right now?
Thank you, my friend. First, thank you for that great introduction. Obrigado.
De nada.
It's great to see everybody, and it's an honor to be part of SepulQuarta. I've been hearing about it, and yeah, I the same. It's been great getting to know you and Metal Allegiance and working together. And also, I remember way back the very first time Testament toured in Brazil. I think
That's
it was
right.
like 1990 maybe, or even before.
I think it was
true.
89, 90. 89 maybe?
89, yeah, something like that. I remember you guys played in a very cool place in Sao Paulo. And Eddie Rocha was with you guys, remember? Eddie Rocha, he was our tour manager later, yeah.
Yeah, and you guys were just getting started, but we were told, oh yeah. And I think we might have borrowed some equipment from you guys.
I think so, yeah. That's right. I don't remember exactly what, but that was the case, yeah.
But yeah, I remember hearing, there's a local band, and they have equipment. We're gonna set you guys up with some of their equipment, and then a few years later, when your album started coming out, we were like, oh my God, that's that band.
Those Brazilians, those bastards.
That's crazy. Well, also, I thought what was really cool that you guys did, it wasn't a lot. After a few years, a lot of bands were trying to sound like the American bands. And we would get these demos of these bands that were sometimes, not bad players, but you could tell they were just trying so hard to sound like us or like Slayer or like somebody else. And I just always thought, you guys, you took the influence, but you also embraced where you were from, and you added the whole quality to it, and that's what you need to do, is you have to bring part of your own personality to it. You can be influenced by somebody else, but you have to bring something else, and that's what you guys did, and that's what was so great about it, because it was just, it was heavy like us and the others, but it didn't sound like you brought this new thing that we didn't have at all.
I think so. Yeah, I think the most different thing that we had, I think, was the drumming. Igor, like the way the Brazilians play percussion, and with using samba and other rhythms. And even though we are playing thrash metal, we kind of played in a Brazilian way, let's say, especially the percussive part of it. Even though we're playing death metal and thrash metal, something was different there, yeah. And but I remember that was 89, and
okay, wow, unbelievable.
89, and it was pretty cool, man. It was not really common for bands to come down to Brazil. I mean, it was a starting point that the bands were coming down. And you remember if you guys did like a South American run, or it was just Brazil?
That time it was just Brazil.
Wow.
I think the next time we came down, I think there were some other shows, but that I remember that, and it was a great. We had a couple of days off. It was a great way to experience it.
Great, awesome. Country. So you were talking about the Sepultura influence, being influenced by Brazil and the environment and stuff. And what about the Bay Area? I mean, I know Bay Area produced so many different music, not only thrash, but you see, Steve Vai and whatever, Joe Satriani, which was your teacher as well. I'd like to talk about that too. So what kind of influences were there that made Testament different, unique?
Yeah, well, I think there was a lot of different stuff happening at the time. So we had a lot of, I grew up there in the Bay Area, and we had a lot of the famous musicians didn't grow up there. They came from other places. So
I see.
Some of the most famous people there, like Sammy Hagar, just to use one, came from like Southern California, not even LA, but like way remote.
And even Lars Ulrich and James Hetfield as well, right? They came from different places,
Yeah, James came from like this suburban Southern California.
Yeah,
Lars obviously came from Denmark.
Denmark.
And I think even, you go even before that, Santana came from Mexico. Jerry Garcia came from somewhere else.
Wow. So you are the only native
There weren't
San
many-
Franciscan.
There
Even
weren't
Bruce
many-
Lee came from China, right?
Yeah. So as even Satriani. And
Wow.
he came from Long Island, New York. And so did Steve Vai. Now, Steve Vai's never lived in the Bay Area. He was always in Southern California.
All right. Okay.
But even then, he's still a transplant. He came from the same town as Satriani. So I think, so you did have a lot. You had a lot of the sort of classic musicians there. Like you had like Journey, Santana, the Grateful Dead. But then, like a lot of the newer stuff that was happening, it was much more. I don't know, it was kind of very radio friendly, and Eddie Money, stuff like that. And I think there was, if you were like in your teens, you needed this energy, and there were a lot of punk bands at the time, like the band the Dead Kennedys, the punk band came from.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
the
yeah.
Bay Area as well. So there was that influence as well. But I think partially because of all that, and partially because there was always Northern California always tries to be different than LA and Southern California. So like
what about Faith No More as well, right? Or no?
Yeah, Faith No More came to the Bay Area. Now
More.
they were around the same time. I mean, I think they had already started. They had a different singer. They didn't
Chuck
have
Mosley.
Mike, Chuck Mosley.
Yeah.
They didn't have Mike Patton yet. But
I always thought Faith No More had that hard edge, of course Jim Martin on the guitar, heavier guitar playing,
He brought this heavy quality. We used to go see them. I mean, they were sort of on the same circuit, and you go see them, and you'd see some of the same people you'd see at like Exodus shows.
Yeah, that's killer, man.
But by the time I was old enough to go to clubs, Exodus was playing a lot, and then Metallica was this band. They just seemed like instantly huge, and I didn't know what the story was. And then I found out, Kirk had started Exodus, and then Metallica had come up. They moved there really for Kirk and Cliff, and then things just happened so fast. So by the time I was in high school, Metallica was already blowing up. I mean, not like on the level like U2 and Springsteen level as they did later, but they were already like starting to support Ozzy, and they were sort of becoming an arena support band, which was like way bigger,
huge,
than anybody.
fantastic,
For a band like that fast,
definitely,
that heavy was incredible. So
no doubt.
Anyway, so you have them blowing up, and then you have Exodus. So and then you have Death Angel was already playing.
Death Angel,
even though we were the same age, they were like this young band, and I joined Testament, and I was like the kid. The band was already like supporting Exodus and Slayer and stuff like that. But it really started because there was this scene there and all this stuff happening.
Fantastic scene, amazing scene. I mean, that's why there's so many diversity of the bands coming out of that region. It's amazing. Paulo, you have the question from our WhatsApp group about the jazz stuff. You want to shoot?
Yeah. They basically asking what about your devices from the guy that has a rock background going through the jazz side of the music. What do you recommend for them to do? Because it has a different way of playing Their harmonies are different. And what's your
It's so,
recommendations on that?
It's so different. I know for me, I had to take time away and I had some years where I only did jazz guitar. I wasn't touring. I wasn't recording. And maybe, it doesn't have to be that way for everybody. I mean, I have a friend a younger player who's in the band Revocation, Dave Davidson, who's like a full-on metal player and the front man of his band.
He's an amazing guy, yeah. We jammed together at the Metal Allegiance.
That's right.
He's amazing.
So
great dude.
We can play. He's got the jazz thing down, but
fantastic.
He kind of found his way to balance it. But it is a balance. I think when you work on jazz, you have to have a separation. So it's a good excuse to get a new guitar. Get a get a guitar. I don't know if you probably can't see it, but more like I don't know if you can see that guitar over there.
Oh, you got this semi-acoustic.
Yeah. There was a reason why jazz guitarists play those instruments, and you can play jazz on a solid body. And I have friends who are pro jazz players that can play Strats and Les Pauls. But I think when you're learning, I think it's better to play an instrument like that because it just kind of takes you out of that zone. And so I think you need to work on the sound. The hardest part for me is the feel and the rhythm of it. And so in fact, the rhythm is much harder than soloing. Because I think playing metal, you naturally develop these technical skills, which can help. Speed isn't a problem. You know about triads and arpeggios and all of that stuff applies to jazz. What's really tough is the timing. The timing is just so different, and the listening is different. You listen to different. You listen differently when you're playing jazz. You focus on different parts of the beat, different drums. So I think keeping all that in mind, and also not jumping into music that's too advanced. Some of it is so advanced.
Yeah.
Listen to Pat Metheny playing the song Autumn Leaves, for example. It's just like, what the hell is he doing? Right? It's like advanced.
Ask why.
It's like mathematics. But then if you go way back and you listen to Django Reinhardt or even Wes Monk or even Grant Green playing
Joe Pass. You like Joe Pass? That kind of stuff?
Pass. Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, he's.
I'm not into much the jazz world, but I like some. I mean, Pat Metheny. It's something that I listened throughout a period of time of my life, and of course Joe Pass. That stuff of a harmony and melody together, which I have studied a lot on classical guitar as well. 2-3 voices and stuff. It's something that really opens possibilities for heavy metal because you left Testament and then you went to this saga of the jazz saga and study, and then you came back. So you came back obviously different. How much it changed your composition and your way you see heavy metal after that.
I think it just gave me a lot more tools to work with.
Nice.
Yeah, because suddenly I was just I classical something. I like classical guitar, but that was something I never got too into playing because it's so different. But I always appreciated it, and the Joe Pass stuff I got into, and that's got a little bit of that same quality with the voicings and stuff. So I think it just gave me more of a sense of harmony, and I wasn't just my references before, were like Black Sabbath, Ozzy, Rainbow, Dio, all that stuff, and it's all great stuff.
Amazing.
But I felt like once I had this more jazz knowledge, I could take that and say, "Oh wow, there's so much else you can do with these ideas.
Perfect. Fala, Bruno.
You know, people here are saying that Alex's microphone is a little slow. Can you please speak a little bit closer, maybe to the device?
Oh, sure. You know what? It's also hot. So for you guys, I'm going to turn off the air.
Okay.
I think that might be making noise. That's probably.
It's a little cold here in São Paulo today, actually.
Oh, you're lucky.
Galera aqui do Brasil, dá um toque aí para ajudar no QR Code aqui. A galera que a gente tá ajudando hoje mesmo, quem que é?
Esqueci
O pessoal da parada, né?
É a parada da solidariedade, né?
Parada da solidariedade, exatamente. Vamos contribuir aí, vamos ajudar e vamos passar por esse período aí transitório, melhor que a gente puder. So it's better now?
How is this? Better?
Yeah, I think so.
A
Yeah.
little bit, yeah.
I always
Sounds
forget
better.
how loud that thing is. I know I'm closer now too, so it should be better.
Okay.
Awesome.
We have a question here from Jesse Capel. Hey Jesse, how are you, man? Thank you very much.
Hey, Jesse.
Amazing North American tour in 2017, Testament and Sepultura. Great to hear about the jazz here. Got to see the Alex Skolnick trio several years ago in Cleveland at Ninetown.
Cool.
Great stuff. Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah, the tour was amazing, man. That was the first tour for the Machine Messiah run.
I can't
It
believe
was
that
great.
3 years ago. It seems like we just did that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
I miss touring.
Same.
I miss so much, man. It's like crazy. Five months. I don't remember being so long away from the stage, you know.
Yeah, it's so strange. That was a really fun tour. And the venue.
It was great.
Yeah, so I forget where we played in Cleveland on that tour, but the venue he's talking about with my trio, Nighttown. It's this very elegant place in Cleveland with
Okay.
like they serve dinner and it's like an old time supper place. Like it's not.
Yeah, that's a question. I mean, what is the differences between like touring with thrash metal and touring in jazz? You know, like of course the clubs and the promoters. You know, you might have some differences.
Yeah, I mean it's very different when you tour doing jazz because the venues are different in every area.
No mosh pit.
Right. There's no mosh pit. I mean, like the ideal place to play is a place like in New York. We have a place, the Iridium, where it's all seated, and it's elegant, and there's a lot of my favorite jazz artists play there. In Italy, we played the Blue Notes in Milano.
Nice.
We played a few in the San Francisco Bay Area, Yoshi's, where I used to go see a lot of my favorite jazz artists. But sometimes not every place has a venue like that. So sometimes it's the same type of club where you would play rock or metal.
I see.
Oh, wow.
But most of the time,
and acoustics are not the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it works as well because the sound systems are different. Yeah, the acoustics are more for very loud music. But when we play these smaller jazz venues, then it's a different experience. And it's always fun because we get a lot of folks that go to a lot of jazz shows, but we also get people that have never been to a jazz show and they'll show up in a Testament shirt or a Sepultura.
That's killer.
And it's a different experience for them, because they're kind of in shock, right? There's no you sit, you have a drink, you listen, and they haven't had that experience. So part of what I like to do, as well as creating the music, is giving that experience to people. It's just a different way of experiencing music. I like the other way too, but it's
Yeah,
there's more than one way.
But you do versions of metal and rock music as well, right? In a jazz language.
Yes, yeah. I started when I did my first jazz album. It was mostly those types of songs. And we still do them live. The last album we did was all originals. So we've been doing more and more originals as time went on. But yeah, I felt like that's kind of what I brought. You know what I mean? That was part of my language already.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like
and regarding melody as well, right? Like coming from metal and stuff, which is very different from any other world.
Well, yeah, and I wanted to have fun with it too, because people think of heavy metal and they think of just really like loud, stuff with not that much melody. But those of us that listen to it a lot, we know there are songs with serious melody. Especially like the Scorpions, right? That was the first band I arranged.
Of course.
Those melodies
Killer.
are amazing. They're beautiful.
Yeah,
And in jazz, you do these, they call it reharmonizing, where you can change the chords around, but you need a good melody to do that. And like the Scorpions, it was just so perfect. So it really started, it wasn't this big plan that I thought of one day. It was more like I was just going to do one Scorpion song because it just worked. The song was There's No One Like You.
There's no one like you.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, but also you think
but
about
beside
the other part of the song. Yeah. So that it worked great. And actually, I kind of made a little bit bossa nova, like a jazz. For that song. And so that was just one song, but we would do the normal standard jazz tunes and everything, and then people would go crazy when we did that song.
That's killer.
So I thought, all right, you know what? Let's do some more. And then eventually there was like an album's worth of songs. So
killer.
Awesome.
I mean, it's kind of like what we were talking.
So
about
you did the opposite
before.
You kind of did the opposite, like Jaco Pastorius was bringing the rock music into the jazz, playing Bob Marley, playing Jimi Hendrix, and you just swapped around.
Yeah, exactly. Or
awesome.
Like you guys bringing some of the Brazilian sounds into metal. That was like your language. You're kind of giving it your personality. And I realized, even though at that point I'd been playing mostly jazz guitar for a few years. I came from heavy metal, and I still have, this heavy metal background. So I wanted to find a way to bring that in with the sound of jazz guitar. And that was perfect. That was a good way to do it.
Awesome.
We have a Slavic CC to Alex, Andreas, and Paulo. Do you have any great moments together during your tours together? Have you guys heard of Riley Gale's, vocalist of Power Trip, death yesterday?
We were just talking about that.
Yeah, we're talking about before we went live. Yes, of course we heard. Yeah, and I never met him personally.
Me neither.
I know Alex. Alex he was a big fan of Power Trip, right?
Yeah, I love the band, and I was telling the guys that. I think they're one of the few younger bands that really gets it. That you can hear it, and it really, they really have the quality of the classic bands. And he was so talented. It's just hard. It's really hard to believe. So I dug the band, and I never met him, but I was a fan. I was hoping to meet him at some point.
Yeah, me too. 34 years old, way too young.
Hell.
I mean.
Wow.
We don't know what really happened, but
nobody knows.
We send condolences to his family and friends and fans, of course. Rest in peace. And
as far as us touring together, well, we didn't really tour together until like a few years ago, right? 2017.
That's true,
right?
yeah. We did some festivals. I remember we did a festival in Poland and in Europe. We got across our paths like that, but touring only 2017 together.
Yeah,
It was great.
And by that time, I think the bands had really calmed down quite a bit. You know.
Oh yeah,
that's very true. That's true.
I think
But
it's the same with you
easy
guys.
going.
Testament in 2017 is very different than Testament in like 1990 or 91.
Yeah,
it was just
definitely
much more. But yeah, it was a great tour. Everybody had a good time and really good shows.
All right, André Freitas, thank you for your question. Alex, please tell us your impressions about QUADRA, Sepultura new album. Andreas and Paulo, the same question about Titans of Creation. Please, today you will play Vandal's Nest. We stay here waiting for Nature Blood Jam in the future to destroy. Okay, thank you very much. Well, I mean, Titans of Creation is one of the best Testament albums, I think.
Thank you.
It shows this mature, atmosphere that we have now with our age, with our history touring. The same with you guys, the elements, Chuck singing better than ever, and I think Gene Hoglan, is one of the best out there, You guys have a very, very nice ensemble, to represent Testament, what it is today. And Titans of Creation it's amazing.
You. And I feel the same about your new stuff. Like, I don't feel like there's anything missing, like a lot of bands, well, their new album's okay, but you should really go back.
Yeah.
No, I tell people no. This new record, like it's like everything you like. With all due respect to the earlier lineups, it's like got everything.
Of course,
you like about the earlier stuff, but more, and because it's got that maturity and that the experience.
Killer, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. But it feels that way. I mean, we've been through so many different situations and work with different producers, which also help, really to improve, your your modus operandi in the studio, which is to make decisions and stuff and to be ready technically to play, I mean, you play so much difficult stuff, and you like to challenge yourself, as we can see with your music, And how is the recording process for you? Is something easy or you struggle?
Oh, I used to struggle a lot. I think the first time I was in the studio, I was terrified. Like, I just didn't.
Paulo, did you struggle in the studio too? Paulo.
Up to this day, yes, a lot.
Yeah, I think it's just something it helps just to have a lot of experience, and the more you do it, the more you know what to expect. Because it's not going into a music studio. It's not like going into a rehearsal studio. It's
definitely.
And
you hear everything, especially your mistakes and defects.
yeah. I mean that's a big part of it because you don't really know what you sound like until you
go to the studio.
Yeah,
even
microscope. Yeah,
exactly.
But I think it's great having home recording now. Now you can. If you just have a basic system, you still
even with the help. With the help with the in-ears that we trying to use nowadays as well, you can see every single little mistake. It's and it helps in a way to fix stuff. To be a better player.
To play better, definitely.
Yeah,
it's very much like like waking up. Like
it's like oh shit, this is horrible.
This is really how it is. Yeah. And that takes humility, right? It's like, okay, no, I need to work much harder at this.
Yeah.
But then once you get to that level where you're getting it, whatever you play, you're getting it to sound good, recorded and in the studio, your playing just goes. You get better at it. You get more used to it.
Definitely.
And your playing just goes up such a higher level, especially when you're not recording, because it's always easier when you're not recording. It always sounds better when you're not recording. But also getting used to the equipment and just knowing how to deal with studio equipment. I mean,
it's just a little adjustments as well, like holding the pick or, you know, placing your left hand and whatever. These little things that you don't pay attention, as you said, on practice. Because on practice, you're there, everybody's together. You don't listen what the other guitar player is doing or whatever. You know, it's like kind of confusing. But when you go to the studio, you listen to everything. And it's fantastic because you really define, you know, you refine your sound. You know, you really go for it, you know. And my first experience in the studio was kind of scary too, you know. We did a demo just before Schizophrenia. We did From the Past Comes the Storms, and it was really great because at the same time I was really scared and really tense. After I did it, I said, wow, you know, I feel better. You know, like to conquer that, you know.
That's how, same here. We did 2 demos before the first album. So I at least had that experience. I think that helped. We did one.
Definitely. A lot.
Yeah, Steve, with Zetro, who's, you know, from Exodus, because he was the original singer. When we were called Legacy. So we did
right. Yeah.
But then when he joined Exodus, we were already talking to our record label, Johnny Z and Megaforce, and
Megaforce.
They wanted to hear us with this new guy, Chuck Billy. So I don't think we did as many songs. I think it might have only been 2 songs. I forget. But it was good because it was 2 different studios and 2 different experiences. So it was still overwhelming to record as a record, but I think it definitely helped doing those demos. And some of the parts just ended up being so much harder than you realize. You have to work so much harder, but then once you do it, it's really like a mountain. Yeah,
it's like I got it.
Yeah.
Stefan Santana. Hi, Alex. I think you, Andreas, and other metal guitarists could do a G3 tour, or even more, G16 tour. Type of tour like Satriani has been doing. Thank you, Stefan.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, that'll be great. I mean, we had a lot of great guitar players, heavy guitar players around. There could be, I mean, on Metal Allegiance, we kind of do that, you know, because we put together sometimes 3, 4, 5 guitar players on stage, you know. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
So fun.
And we had such a great time, you know. We all respect each other so much. There's no fucking idiotic ego trips and all that crap, you know. That's why I love Metal Allegiance so much, man. It's such a great project. Talk a little bit about Metal Allegiance, how that started. I mean, you are a member of the core of the Metal Allegiance.
Yeah. So, I mean, luckily with Metal Allegiance, there's an understanding that everybody has to be a team player. Yeah, there's none of the annoying personalities that sometimes come up in music. You know, everybody's it's just such a team, and it started.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it started about 5 years ago, I guess. I did one of these cruises. Testament was on a cruise with a bunch of other bands. Well, Anthrax was there. I can't remember which cruise this was. I guess I think it might
70.
have been it wasn't 70,000 tons. Might have been the I think it was the motorboat.
Monster Cruise.
Motorboat.
I don't know.
It was the last
motorboat. Yeah.
The last Motorhead cruise. And
that's right.
Megadeth, Dave Mustaine had pulled out, so no Megadeth. But Dave Ellefson still wanted to do something. And
awesome.
he and Mark Mengy, who is like really the founder of the whole thing, and he's a really good bass player in the style of like Geezer and Cliff Burton, but he's also a product guy. He knows everybody from working with music products, Hardkey, Samson, Zoom, and he and Dave, to fill in for Megadeth, they just said, "Hey, let's." And they had done some of these events, and I think they called the events like the Metal Masters, and it was like an all-star clinic. And so to fill in for Megadeth, Mark and Dave got together and they approached the promoter of the motorboat and just said, "Hey, could we put together our all-star thing? But we'll do it on the boat, and we'll just use people from the boat." And I guess at that point, that was the biggest version of that they had done, and they changed it from Metal Masters to Metal Allegiance. And I mean, so many of us were involved that night. But it went really. It was the first time I had jammed with them, and I think at the time, well, the other Megadeth guys were there as well, and it was at that point it wasn't Kiko yet. Kiko hadn't joined yet. It was still Chris Broderick.
It was Chris Broderick, yeah.
Yeah. And I think part of it was they decided they wanted to do an album of original stuff, and they approached me like the week after that cruise. It all happened really fast. Because and I'd met the guys, but I'd actually never jammed with any of them, and we just seemed to kind of hit it off. They said they were thinking about doing a record, and they want like every core member to be not in a band with anybody else, right? Like it wouldn't work if you had both Dave from Megadeth, Dave Ellefson, and Chris Broderick from Megadeth. Well, then you've got half of Megadeth, right?
True. Yeah.
And there's another guy in Megadeth that I don't think would be very happy about that.
Most certainly.
Who could that
50%,
be?
50%? What?
So anyway, so it worked great. So it's like, okay, everybody's in separate bands, and then we can write this original album, but then we can bring in guests on different, and there's no singer in the core band either, which is kind of cool because it kind of forced us to write like different types of songs and not be limited by like
that's great, yeah.
And it was like
different styles of singers, yeah.
Yeah, and then as we were writing them, we thought, oh, you know what? Chuck Billy would sound good on this song, and
Osegueda.
Mark Osegueda on this song. Maybe Christina from Lacuna Coil.
Christina.
On this
Phil
song.
Anselmo did as well.
Phil Anselmo on so it ended up, and then guitar players. It's like you were like the first guy we called, I think, and then demo.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's great, man.
So so it just ended up being this massive album, and then the second one we scaled it down a bit, and we kind of kept it more like folks who had done the live show with us, including you and Demo, and but we did have some additional folks, and then it became I mean, it's very hard to tour. We tried a few times, but between your tours and my tours, and it was tough.
Unfortunately, only at NAMM, when the NAMM everybody's there.
That's the
it's
one
great
time we could count on everybody being there, just doing it right.
Everybody's there.
And we did a bunch of this, and that kept growing.
And since NAMM is officially canceled, man, next year, so no Metal Allegiance. Oh, no. Fucking sad, man. Cadê a pergunta? All right, Victor Moreira Gomes. Alex, you are my favorite guitar player ever. I'm sorry, Andreas. Hey, man, what the fuck, man? My wife always laughs at me playing air guitar and practice what you preach. Thank you very much, guys, for your amazing art. Keep metal. Valeu, Victor. Thank you, Victor.
Thank you, Victor. Everybody's got their tastes, yeah.
What, Alex?
That's okay. No, I was going to say everybody's, there's Everybody
cannot hear it.
Hello.
It's only me?
Yeah, no, I can hear it. So now I can hear you guys.
Thanking him for the
Bruno,
nice
help.
What happened, Bruno?
Andreas, você tá ouvindo?
No,
Será que meu
Andreas lost
fone
signal.
caiu?
I think it's Andreas. I think it's
It's,
Andreas.
Yeah, my phone died.
Crap, shitty headphone.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
All right.
You're back.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Yes.
Okay. I think. Hold on. I have another question. I heard that you played with Ozzy. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes. Hold on. I lost the question. Oh shit. Oh wow. No, they asked me to. It's the guitar players from my hometown. They asked me to ask you about the experience with Ozzy. Now, what you can record and what you can remember from back that time.
Very, very strange.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, because I think one of the things that I like about our genre of music, this type of metal music, it's very removed from like kind of celebrity culture, right?
Right.
Yeah.
None of us are like celebrities, and it's weird, right? So I'd never been around that before.
And Ozzy's huge, yeah.
Yeah, when somebody's that famous, there's just a whole other. It's like they call it a bubble.
Yeah.
It's like this different reality and the way people act around, and that. So that part of it was strange. It's just like observing the whole thing, and it was. I've told the story a few times. I'll try to make it short. But basically, and also I think like knowing what I know now about the music and the entertainment industry, I think I understand it better. But basically, like they I guess Zach was doing his solo career, and so they had a falling out with Zach Wilde, so they were trying out different guitar players. None of them were working out. I got a call to come over and audition. I flew to London, and the audition went well. So they booked an unannounced show at this venue in Nottingham. And I remember the show was on, and then it was off, and then it was on because Ozzy had a cold, or and it was just crazy. But anyway, the show ended up happening, and it went really well. But I kept getting notes like passed to me, or I was told things by like other people in the organization. Like, Sharon wants you to lower the guitar. Sharon wants you to stand like this. Yeah.
Really?
And and I realized, oh my God, you know what? She's so used to Zach. She's trying to like get me to have this look like Zach, and it was So I understand it now. But
right.
So we did the show, and the whole crew said it was like the best. They had never seen Ozzy that happy the whole time. They were trying to. So afterwards, Ozzy told me I was hired, but I didn't hear anything from Sharon. She just like kind of thanked me, and so I
oh man,
thought I was hired, but I kind of got the sense, okay, well, until she says I'm hired, I'm not hired, and then I ended up not being hired. So
you play only one show with Ozzy in Nottingham.
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome, man. That's amazing.
At least I got to do the show. And,
yeah.
And his bassist at that time was Geezer.
Oh,
wow. Fuck, man.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there were 2 Sabbath songs in the set, I think there was Iron Man and maybe Paranoid. Yeah.
Has to be Paranoid.
Yeah.
It has to be.
So, like, how many people can say that they did those Sabbath songs with half?
I know. That's crazy, man. Fantastic. Congratulations
so it was
for
a
that.
Great, yeah. So that's how I look at it. Yeah, it was a great experience.
And talking about bass players, I know Paulo is one of his biggest idols, Stuart Hamm. That is your partner, basically. Stuart Hamm is a fantastic guy. We all love Joe Satriani. I mean, me and Paulo especially, we listened to Joe Satriani since the beginning. And Stuart Hamm is a big part of the Satriani sound.
Sure.
Did you go after him to do your stuff, or how it happened, this partnership?
Oh, so that was that was around 1991 at first, and he was just starting to do tours separate from Satriani.
Yeah, he put out a solo album.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he hadn't done anything on his own yet, and he was trying out guitar players. And I tried out, and I guess he liked what I brought, and I wasn't trying to. I guess some of the other guys he tried out like mimicked everything from his records. Like
I see.
Like Satriani guested on a song, so they played the Satriani solo exact, but couldn't really play much besides that. Eric Johnson guested on a song. They tried to play it exactly, and then I didn't try to do that. I tried to capture that flavor, and I said, I can do that if you want, but I tried to bring my own. And he liked it, and we just hit it off, and then. That was my first tour, like outside of metal, and it was a totally different crowd too. I mean, there were a few people there to see me that knew me from Testament, but there were like a lot of kind of the Satriani crowd, and he had a big bass following too.
Oh yeah,
like his style of thumb and funk bass.
Yeah.
I met a lot of bass players on that tour. Like I met Will Lee for the first time, Chuck Rainey. So he's got there's this whole bass community, and it was So that was a big inspiration. I think for kind of like what I did later, just getting more into instrumental music and jazz. Like touring with Sue certainly kind of planted the seeds, and then it was kind of crazy. Like he moved to the Bay Area right around the time I moved to New York in the late 90s. So we totally missed each other, and we wanted to work together more. And then the last few years we started playing together again. We've been touring, and we're planning something later this year. So
cool.
It's great.
But you did a record as well with if I'm not wrong, Michael Merring.
Yes. Yeah.
And Tim Alexander on the drums, right?
Yeah.
That's Tim? Right. I have the record, but I was trying to find it, but I don't know where to put it. It's like a heavy swing. Primus, drumming.
Yeah, he's got a really unique sound. Yeah.
Very, very nice. Very nice. That's a very good record.
We had both guested on Michael's record. So Michael did a record.
Yeah, right.
But then he had other guests on the record too. But then he got an offer to do a record with just me and Tim. And it was that was called Attention Deficit. And it was totally improvised too. We had no material prepared. Yeah, we just went in the studio.
Wow.
It's very experimental.
Awesome.
It's kind of brave to do, but interestingly, I just did a gig like that, and I haven't done that type of thing in years. But I just did that with Percy Jones. Do you know who that is from Brand X?
I heard the name. Yes, Percy Jones.
Yeah, he's British. He's from Wales, and Brand X was a band he had with Phil Collins in the 70s.
Okay.
Before Phil Collins got so well known. Yeah, he was in a bunch of different bands, and the first Brand X records have Phil Collins on drums, but it's all like total experimental, instrumental stuff, like really cool stuff. And
awesome.
so, yeah, he's one of Stu's favorite bass players. Interesting. So now,
awesome.
So now Stu is joking with me. You know, will you still talk to me now that you're playing with Percy Jones?
No, I used you. I don't need you anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Fala,
I don't
Bruno.
have time now, Stu. Sorry.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about our Sepul store. So it's a little break for you guys, like drink some water or stuff like that.
Okay.
And
okay.
so
Cool.
I'm gonna put here the address here from our SepulQuarta. You just go to sepultura.com.br/SepulQuarta, as you can see in the video, and you're gonna be able to find all the links to our web stores all over the world. Also, you have the links to all the videos that we're gonna have today for the Q&A, for the live performance of Vandal's Nest, and of course, also for the storyteller that we're gonna talk about, the Sepul covers. So you can see on the screen right now the address where you can go and find all the links to the Sepul store all over the world, in the United States, Europe, and also in Brazil and Australia. And for the European fans, we have the Sepul mask. We just released the Sepul mask this week. So you just go to sepultura.com.br/SepulQuarta, and you can see that. I'm gonna put in a few minutes the mask on the video, then you can see. And right now I'm gonna send a message for the Brazilian audience that's here, Sepul Nation, que está aqui acompanhando o Q&A. Vocês podem acessar aí sepultura.com.br/SepulQuarta ou sepulstore.com.br, e que você tem produtos novos aí do Sepultura. Inclusive, a linha clássica do Sepultura também está disponível na Sepul Store, né, com aquele moletom azul que muitas pessoas pediram aí nas redes sociais do Sepultura. Então, está disponível, sepulstore.com.br, e vamos voltar aqui para o nosso Q&A. So we're gonna come back to our live Q&A.
Q&A.
All right. We're back. Galera do Brasil aí, vamos ajudar. Parada solidária, QR Code. E participem aí, mano. Certo? Aí, apareceu aí. E... Dude, I also reading, and I didn't know about that. You did an album, or 2 albums, I think, with Savatage, right?
One album.
One album.
Yeah.
How was that, man? I mean, I always like Savatage as well. I think they're always very epic kind of metal. Not in a sense of melodic metal, but heavy, you know, but very different.
Yeah, it was very different. Yeah, that was right before the Ozzy thing. That was sort of this period where I was sort of not exactly sure what I was going to do. I had done the my first tour with Stu, and played with Michael, and I thought I was going to be doing more instrumental stuff, and then the Ozzy thing came up, and then the Sabotage thing has come up. And that was an unfortunate circumstance because the guitarist Chris Oliva had passed away, and they had a record finished except for the lead guitar parts. And the founder of the band, John Oliva, he told me that the only guy he was comfortable giving that job to was me. And
that's killer, man.
Yeah. So it was very a good experience to play. It felt so, I got to say, it felt so slow compared to Testament,
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah.
Yeah, playing beats like yeah, and there's even like power ballads with piano and stuff like that. So I liked it, and I was a big Sabotage fan when I was younger. Like the early records, we used to, those were hard to find, and we used to tape copies of those records among our friends, because like only one guy had a copy of the record.
Wow, the same here in Brazil, man. It's amazing how the story, in different parts of the world, it's so similar. It's crazy.
Yeah. So on the one hand, it was like this huge honor. At the same time, though, I think like staying with it just didn't feel right for a number of reasons, because it was very clear, like you had to be committed to it, but it wasn't something where you could be creative. It was really kind of being told at that point. They were produced by Paul O'Neill, who is a well-known producer. He would go on to produce this and create this show, the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, which is
it's an amazing project.
And I ended up playing with them too, and that perfect, because that was something I could kind of step into for a tour, or like play a little bit on an album, but it didn't require this commitment, and just which I wasn't, and I knew I was, especially after the Ozzy thing didn't work out. It was like, okay, I knew I was moving way more in the instrumental direction. But it was good to, do, and I'm proud of the one record we did, and people are really into the record still. It's called The Handful of Rain.
That's killer, man. Wow. And Testament, what happened to Testament? You left the band, and what happened in that period, and why you came back, and why at that time you came back?
Yeah, that was a difficult period for the band, and they've talked about it quite a bit, but it was very difficult. They were not, the term that gets used sometimes is toxic environment.
Yeah, I remember it changed a little bit, the sound and the voice of Chuck as well. I mean, I don't know. It was weird, really.
Yeah, I mean, some people like those. There's a few of those songs that we've played live, and I've enjoyed playing them, and it's good. And I have respect for the music they were doing, but just as far as like being in the band at that point was really tough.
I see.
I used to get asked, man, it's such a great band. How could you leave such a great band? And then, the same people would ask me, how could you stay in that band so long?
It's exactly the way it is.
And if I don't want to get into too much detail, but if you look at that whole period of the band, like the number of people that were they even admit it was a revolving door. They could not hold on to people because it was so difficult, and they were at that time they were not easy to work with, and it was multiple guitar players, multiple drummers, bass players. So finally, around like the mid 2000s, I think they were really like ready to retire the band.
They had enough, right? Too many problems and stuff.
Yeah. Now we had gotten together a couple times because there was a benefit for Chuck. Chuck, heroically defeated cancer, which was amazing. And
fantastic.
And when that happened, it was like kind of like everything was, that was what was important. It was, you know, we played together at this benefit, and it's like, okay, whatever happened, and you know, and there was also no pressure. It was just like we're just playing for, you know, this benefit, and yeah, we're not thrown into that situation of having to make a record and tour. And all that. And it was good. And then I came around to the Bay Area a couple times with my trio, and there were always a couple of the guys would come and check out the show. It's funny, you know, we had that guy asking the question earlier about us doing like a G3 tour.
Yeah.
I did something like that once, and it was Marty Friedman, and Chris Poland, and my trio. Yeah, we did a bunch. And I remember at one of those shows, the guys were there. And like I think Eric and Chuck came, and they kind of brought up the idea of if we were to do just like I don't know, almost like a not an official farewell show, but just, yeah, they were going to retire the band. And
that was the idea at the time, yeah, to really chew and everything.
Exactly. We'll phase it out. Would you? And at that point, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'd totally be up for it. We had some business issues to work out. We worked out the business issues. And they came through, you know, to their credit. So the way I saw it was like, we all learned a lot of lessons during that time, and they were trying to make things right. So it's like, okay, you know what, let's give this a shot. And also by that point, I had already, I'd sort of started doing metal stuff again. I guessed it on Lamb of God's record, Ashes of the Wake.
Oh, yeah, cool.
And I wanted to do something metal again. I wasn't sure what, but then I thought, okay, well, if Testament's sort of getting it together, then yeah, sure, it might as well be this band that I have this history with. So they got a couple offers to do festivals in Europe, and it was just like a few festivals with the original lineup, and it clicked really well, it sounded good, and they realized, okay, you know, it's really hard to recapture that chemistry that we have. So we planned to do, and also offers started coming in. So it's like,
of course, as soon as you are on the festivals and stuff, I mean, people are really starting to really open possibilities, especially if the shows are good.
Exactly. So the first ones were in Europe, and then suddenly, oh, there's an offer to go to Japan. Would you? Yeah, sure, I'll go to Japan.
Why not?
And then, hey, there's a promoter in the U.S. now that wants to do a short tour. Okay, yeah. So this continues for like a year, right? And we're into, I don't know, 2006, 2007, and we're doing more and more. Like the offers just kept coming out. By that point, there's momentum. Like, okay, we started.
Yeah.
Sound like a band, you know, and we started thinking about doing an album, but no pressure. And it was like, all right, nobody wanted pressure. It's just like,
let's enjoy, the process.
Yeah, let's just enjoy it. So we'd already gotten started on it, and it was going at a pretty slow pace. And then I think it might have come out in 2009, but then we got this offer to do a tour called the Metal Masters Tour. Was it the Masters of Metal? With Heaven and Hell, with Dio, Judas Priest, and Motorhead. It's like, okay,
let's do this tour.
Okay, let's do this.
Let's step in. And even at that point, I remember having talks with Chuck. You know, he's kind of he liked like not being on the road all the time, and not, you know, does he want to do, you know? But we just said, you know, this is a shot. This is an opportunity. Let's give it a shot. Of course. And then that album was the formation of Damnation, and that led to a whole new record deal and more tours and more festivals, and yeah. So ever since, it's been a balance of that, and I'm still doing the instrumental stuff. But the band really had a full resurrection at that point, like starting in the late.
That's great because you guys sounded great, man. Like I said, the album and everything, the tour we did together was so much fun.
Yeah.
Great vibe. Really, everybody was really enjoying. It was really cool. Dravos Metal Fan. Hi guys, Andreas. I saw your cover of Black Sabbath Zero the Hero. I love that song, and it's great to see the Born Again album getting some love. Thanks for doing the SepulQuarta. Cheers.
Cool. Yeah,
Thank you, man. I love Born Again. One of the best.
Born Again is awesome.
It gets overshadowed by because there was just these giant records right in between.
I know
that it was coming off the Dio period and
that's true.
The original Ozzy stuff, but yeah, that had some great stuff on it.
I love that album. It came out in '83, I think, and since it came out, I really loved and people always felt weird, Sabbath and Purple mixed that way, and I think it's great because Bill Ward is there, and his signature sound is so important, for that album to have that Sabbath consistency. Well, whatever that word. Consistent.
Consistency.
Yeah, exactly. Milton Jr., seria foda uma tour Sepultura Testament. You'd be great tour Sepultura.
Yeah,
it happened.
It happened.
We have to do it again, man.
Yeah.
In Europe would be great, or South America. We did a tour with Angel in Australia and New Zealand. It was amazing. Touring with friends overseas like that is awesome, man.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Those are really fun tours. Yeah.
Sabotage 77. Parabéns, Andreas. Feliz cumpleaños. Muchas gracias, amigo.
Feliz cumpleaños again. Yeah.
Gracias. ¿Hablas español, Alejandro?
Poquito. Vamos.
Great.
Hey, muchachos, vamos.
No, ¿hablas español? Yes. Yo quiero Taco Bell.
No comprende, señor.
Yes. That's great, man. So, Alex, what are you doing right now? Are you doing any new projects, or what's going on with Testament and your trio? What are the plans?
Yeah, well, I just did my first live show, which was recorded, and this was the one with Percy Jones from Brand X, and all great musicians too. Totally experimental, improvised, but it went really well. It was streamed, and I'm gonna I actually have a show with the trio coming up that's going to be broadcast to Latin America.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's great.
In fact, look out for. I'm going to post a flyer for that very, very shortly. That's on September 5th, and yeah, so it's just one step at a time. There's really no touring things happening, but this trio show. This will be the second sort of streamed show that I do, and I'm doing a lot of guest tracks. Guest appearances
with Sepultura and those bastards from Brazil.
Yeah. Well, that's the latest one. That was great.
Awesome. That's great, man.
I played on a blues album by a guy named Mike Zito. He's
a
great blues artist. It's got like Robin Ford and Joe Bonamassa and all these guys on it.
Awesome. That's great.
Doing a lot of instruction. I have a Patreon account now, so I have tutorials on there that are they're kind of exclusive, and working on we're on a method book that I've been working on for more than a year, and I have a podcast that I started recently. It's on Apple Podcasts, and I'm a lot of the stuff that I had been working on, but it was slowed down from the touring.
Yeah,
because it's so hard to get things done on the road.
Of course, you
save your energy for the show, and
exactly.
You're tired all the time,
physically and mentally. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
only physically, but especially mentally. You know?
Yeah, so it's really creative. So I do miss the certainly miss the concerts.
Oh yeah,
And and as far as Testament, yeah, we're just on hold. I mean, we put out Titans of Creation just when this whole shutdown happened. So it's very strange timing, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But at least we got the record done.
definitely.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah,
here.
at least we got the album done, and it got out February 7th.
Yeah,
And then
I
we
think
took
it's
us to the North American tour and everything else. But yeah, exactly the same here. I mean, everything that was really kind of on hold because of touring and never really having kind of a routine, you know, it's happening now. Also doing like different projects and organizing things that was really, you know, not really complete. And it's pretty cool. I mean, we need to use this time in a positive way.
Yeah.
And not only really crying, oh, it's supposed to be on tour, supposed to do that. It's not. I mean, it's not going to happen. So let's face the facts. And like you said, day by day, you know, really building something new, you know,
There's
whatever
so
that
much
might
to
be.
do. Yeah, I mean, there's really a lot you can still do.
Yeah, of course.
We're lucky to have technology.
Definitely.
We
definitely.
can do this.
No doubt about it.
We can record, really, you know.
Yeah.
It's hard to record a live band. So
True.
That's tough for my trio because we record our stuff live. But as far as like, you know, me doing tracks for other people, that's not a problem. And and also just having the experience after making so many albums.
True, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
there was a message from Silvio. Valeu, Bibica. Thank you, Silvio. Another great SepulQuarta. He said it's the first time he listened to your voice. So
all right, I have a voice.
I guess he's positively impressed by that.
It's my voice.
Yeah, he can speak as well. Alex, thank you so much, man. You are a master.
Oh, thank you, man.
It's so cool to have you as a friend and as an inspiration. You're such a great musician and a great guy, and thank you so much for doing this with us, man.
It's great to be invited. It's cool you guys are doing this, and it's so cool to be a part of it. I was thrilled when you asked me. So.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paulinho.
It's great. Thank you, Paulo. Thank you, Andreas.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Good to see you. Good to talk to you. You know, I hope to see you with the Stuart Ham down in Brazil sometime.
Yeah, I'll talk to him about it. He would love it.
That would be great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Who sent the questions and help.
Obrigado.
Obrigado, Alex. Thank you. Obrigado, Bruno.
Thank you.
Thank you all, and
thank you
just
everybody.
go to sepultura.com.br/sepulquarta to watch the premiere of Vandal's Nest. See you.
Falou. Tchau.